Argentina, officially not white anymore. It's been done. I know this has been the position of the people on 4chan for quite some time, but turns out that also the entire critical race theory left have now shake hands and have agreed that, yeah, Argentina is definitely not white, and the reason is because they won the World Cup.
Argentines officially people of colour.
Indeed. And we'll just start off by mentioning a contemplation, so you can go and check out about how accurate are stereotypes. They exist for a reason. And when it comes to Argentina, yeah, kind of. Yeah, a little bit.
This is a great episode as well.
Screeching about how Argentina is white. Anyway, but we'll go to this article, because this is the thing that sparked my interest. Oh, yeah. This is an archive, before we go any further, but it's an article from the Washington Post. Why doesn't Argentina have more black players in the World Cup?
Do you know why this is an archive?
Because they changed the name.
Also, do you know why they changed the name?
Because it's a real bad look.
Because I ratioed them on Twitter on this.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Oh, good.
I literally clipped a bit out of the article and said if you read your own article, you'd know, and they had twice as many likes as they have in theirs, and they
panicked.
They did, yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you read the full article, you find out some more and more revealing takes from the author, which are good fun, and I thought we'd enjoy. Start off with just the byline being, Argentina is far more diverse than many people realise, but the myth that it is a white nation has persisted.
Not with me.
We're all well aware that Argentina is not a white nation. Do not worry, folks.
I don't consider any nation that's south of the English Channel to be white, to be honest.
No, there's that too. There's also one north of the English Channel that's not white, Ireland. So that's also got to be dealt with. But for people who don't know, there's quite a meme about this, which has been hovering around.
An old meme about this as well.
Still checks out.
It does, yeah.
I thought we'd go revisit this, just to enjoy a moment. So if we go to the next one here, we can revisit that. Argentina is white! Screams the local Argentinian football fan. And there's more of that. There's a lot more of that. If you go to the next one here, we can see more. You can say, hello, my white friend, to a local Argentinian poster who's posting away with his insistence.
It's so weird that they have to, essentially validate 4chan memes. Why is this the way they think?
Because, this sort of S-posting is funny and old
and
almost
classic.
Forgotten. Yeah, there's actually, you can, what is it, on meme...
So stupid.
Not Meme Insider, what's it called? That website that logs all the memes. Know Your Memes, yeah. They have a little bar that shows the popularity of the meme over time, and it's dead, and then all of a sudden it's really spiked for some reason.
The New York Times is we need to bring this back. This is vintage.
Which, to them, thank you. I do miss good things like this.
Yeah.
And if you go to the last one here, I think it's the last example I'm just going to give, which... Anyway, long-running joke. But back to the Washington Post deciding to go full 4chan.
I just want to make it clear as well, we don't care at all what colour people consider Argentina to be.
No, I don't care.
Don't care at all. The fact that you're talking about this is what's funny to us.
All of a sudden you are, for some reason, deciding... There's the whole conversation as to what even is a white country. What does that concept mean? But of course, it just breaks down to... basically, do I love or hate them?
Yes.
Depending on your political persuasion as to whether or not a country is white or not.
And so they're like, I can like Argentina because it's not a white country. It's yeah, okay.
That's also the defense of why diversity totally wins football games. Which,
good point.
Yeah. Her name here, so Erica Edwards over here, is the author of the award-winning book Hiding in Plain Sight, Black Women, the Law, and the Making of White Argentine Republic.
Oh.
Which... Again, sounds like a 4chan post.
It does, actually. She's literally a black woman saying Argentina isn't white.
She's also an associate professor at the University of Texas.
Of course she is.
El Paso, right. But she decides to write here, as fans keep up with Argentina's success in this year's World Cup, a familiar question arises. Does it? Why doesn't It's not what I always think when I think of Argentina.
Millions, probably billions of people are watching the World Cup, and she's just sat there going, but are they white?
And she's thinking that everyone else watching is like,
yeah.
Bit Italian, you think?
Yeah, that's definitely out for me.
No, the question is, why doesn't Argentina's team have more black players?
Yes, this is the thing, because in the same article they say, well, Argentina has less than 1% black population.
So, some people would think that means that maybe it's expected that you would have less black players. But...
Well, how many players do you have on the team? 11?
Yeah.
So fewer than 1% of the team should be black if we were doing proportional representation.
So if we do 23 and me's on the team,
Well, I mean, I can't speak to that. We'll talk about that in the final segment, actually.
Oh, God. Anyway, but she says, in stark contrast to
it's
other...
not my politics. It's actually Californian politics that's now getting the 23andMe's out. But anyway, and this lady...
Who just has to know.
It's weird how we've got back to racial purity testing.
It gets worse than that. She mentions in here that, of course, other South American countries, such as Brazil, Argentina's soccer team pales in comparison to them in terms of black representation.
That's because Brazil's like 20%, 25%, something like that, isn't it?
So, I don't know. I mean, in my mind, 100%, but, you know.
Get back to mine too.
Because we go to the Wikipedia page, of course, as you've noted. Wikipedia doesn't really list black people as a group in Argentina either.
Right.
They list in their census 0.4% Africans.
Right.
Is how they put it. Which, that's not even 1%. That's not even 0.5%. It's less than 0.5%.
85% German, though. Look at that.
Ooh. Hitler and his boys. Anyway, getting back to the article.
I saw a great meme about this. Where it's just this guy saying, Argentina will win the World Cup. And the camera pans across to the crowd, and it's just a very aged Hitler waving an Argentinian flag.
Yeah. It's just like, it's an all-white team.
Yeah.
You can do that in Hoi 4 as well. Anyway, but she writes, the observation is not a new one. In 2014, observers hauled jokes about how even Germany's soccer team had at least one black player, whereas it appeared that Argentina had none during that year's World Cup final. And you may remember who won this World Cup final. It was diversity, right? Because diversity wins.
That's what I've been told.
I mean, they literally put it on their plane for the German team.
Yeah.
We'll get this up.
That's Andrew Lawrence.
Which, yeah.
Did they win, though?
This is the thing. And
Did the English team win? Did the French team win?
I did call this. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take the credit here, which is that I did say this is going to happen again, and it has happened again. And the cope this time round is, what if Argentina is all black? Which is not the cope I was expecting.
What if Argentina isn't a white country? It's like, well, then checkmate.
Well, here we go. Here goes the argument. She says, in 2010, Argentina's government released a census noting 150,000 people, which amounts to about 1% of the country, was black. For many, that data seemed to confirm that Argentina was indeed a white nation.
Not for me.
No, not for me either.
We're not black. Well, that's not good enough, I'm afraid.
I've got some more questions before we go any further.
Neither are the Irish, mate.
Just spit into this cup for me. But roughly about 200,000.
This is so stupid. It's 2022. Like...
4chan memes are now mainstream discourse.
This is just... Who cares? They care. Sorry, carry on.
But roughly 200,000 African captives disembarked on the shores of Rio de la Plata during Argentina's colonial period.
Oh my God, are they going to complain about miscegenation?
Yes, they are.
Oh, fuck.
Race mixing is bad. According to this woman.
Says one Washington Post article.
The reason race mixing is bad is it because it dilutes the race to the point that it's not pure anymore, according to this woman.
So I'm
not kidding. That's where we're going.
What was it? Spanish, Italian, German immigrants to Argentina were like, God, those black women are sexy.
They were.
We're gonna have to marry them.
Ooh la la.
And this woman's just like, yeah, but that's black genocide.
I'm not. You called it in one.
I haven't read the article. I just skimmed through to get the number to ratio them on.
Yeah, no.
I wish I'd read it now because it's genuinely hilarious.
The whole thing is gold. That's why we're doing a segment on it. Anyway, she says at the end of the 18th century, 1/3 of the population was black. Which, gonna need a fact check on that, but whatever.
Yeah.
She says, indeed, not only is the idea of Argentina as a white nation inaccurate, it speaks to a longer history of black erasure.
Right. So literally black genocide.
Yes.
Through marriage.
At the heart of the country's self-definition.
Right.
So you remember that image earlier of the guy on the train screaming, Argentina is white? That's what she actually imagines Argentina's history is, since the founding.
Well, I mean... Here we are.
Yeah. Argentina has several myths that purportedly explain the absence of black Argentines. Well, there
aren't an absence. There are 150,000 of them.
No, but she's coming into, like, what was that show called? I can't remember his name now. The guy from... I've completely forgotten now. But there was that show where the guy would come in and he'd like try and myth bust everything.
No, it's called Mythbusters.
No, not Mythbusters.
Oh, Adam Ruins Everything.
Adam Ruins everything. Yeah, she's Adam Ruins Everything. The whole thing. Yeah. Which is going to tell everyone that no, all of Argentine was black, all until now. At which point the team wasn't, and now it's a problem. She says another myth argues that it was because of the high death toll of black men caused by the 19th century wars. Black women in Argentina had no choice but to marry, cohabit, and form relationships with European men.
Right, so she's actively against miscegenation.
Indeed.
It's crazy.
Leading to the, quote, disappearance of black people. Miscegenation, she writes. Miscegenation.
Miscegenation is black genocide. Washington Post 2022.
This is still up as well. Miscegenation or interracial mixing.
Oh, how awful.
Led to the disappearance of black people. Over several generations, it is thought to have taken its toll.
It's toll.
It's taken a toll.
Oh, God.
Burn the coal, you pig.
Creating a physically lighter and whiter population. Oh, God.
Ooh. I don't know what to say. I suppose.
That is a great framing.
Yeah, she writes that the
I bet Richard
miscegenation.
Spencer's exactly.
Those Spaniards over there, they found the black ladies attractive, and this is a bad thing because it led to the disappearance of black people, and it's taken quite a toll on the population, she writes. Okay?
Black women were mere victims of an oppressive regime.
Yeah,
it
that's the other
dictated
thing.
every aspect of their lives. You mean they got married to white guys, right? Okay.
I love that, right? Like, she tells us, like, okay, those, a lot of black guys went out and died in war, and then, these European guys were like, those black ladies are pretty cute. Should buy them a drink. And they have some kids, and she writes, in this telling, black women were mere victims of an oppressive regime of marriage and kids, and which... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's pure oppression right there.
Yep.
But more recent
Couldn't have
studies...
been worse, to be honest. Don't know what to tell you.
I've got this husband who loves me and wants to have kids with me. Yeah, but he's white.
Didn't Argentina abolish slavery in like the 1850s as well?
Not that early, but quite early, yeah.
Right, okay.
They're saying here, but more recent studies have instead revealed that some black women in Argentina had concerted decisions to pass as white or Armenian, or to obtain...
Amerindian.
Sorry.
Native mix.
Yeah. Or to obtain the benefits afforded by whiteness for their children and themselves.
Right.
So the black women here were also wanting to be white, and that's a problem.
This is the Brazilian grandmothers and their genetic imperialism, isn't it?
Yeah, except big question in the room is it forced? And if it's not, then what?
If they willingly wanted to marry white guys, I don't know what I can do about that.
I mean, this lady knows what she's going to do about it, which
Yeah.
is form a movement,
Hundreds of years
presumably
ago,
with like 3 letters in the title to stop miscegenation.
Hundreds of years ago, these black women married white guys, and we need to put a stop to that.
She writes, but white Argentine leaders such as, got a bunch of this, Domingo Faustino Samarino, whatever, West Falklands,
White.
the ex-president of Argentina from 1868, crafted a different narrative to the erasure of blackness because they equated modernity with whiteness.
Oh.
Samarinto over here wrote a book, Facchuno, whatever, Civilization and Barbarism, 1845, which detailed Argentina's backwardness and what...
Agreed.
Based, and he and others perceived as what needed to become civilized.
Very true.
He was among those who shared a vision for the nation that associated more strongly with European rather than African or Armenian,
Amerindian.
heritage.
But is that because they were looking at what the British were doing all across their empire and saying, maybe we should do some of that as well?
Yeah, she phrases this as if he was writing the book, going like, yeah, so if we're more white, we'll be more civilized, so go and have some babies. No, he actually was writing about the fact that there used to be a dictatorship and are now a republic.
But also, I can see that Argentina abolished slavery in 1853.
How could they do such a thing?
Who was leading the charge on that?
Who knows? Presumably the Africans. Maybe the African kingdoms. Anyway. In many ways, she writes, this was not unique to Argentina. This whitening process was attempted throughout much of Latin America. Oh, could you imagine writing this stuff about today?
No.
Browning of America is... No, the whitening of South America is a problem. Okay, she writes, in Brazil, Uruguay, and Cuba, this also took place, which very much gives me...
Peak white countries, Brazil, Uruguay, and Cuba.
See, the thing is, because you've also got to dichotomize this with the global South, you may remember. For people who missed it, you're missing out on a lot, though. This is the map of the global South. I still can't not look at this and laugh.
Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong,
Taiwan, white.
South Korea. Welcome to the white race.
South Korea is in the global North. North Korea is in the global South. Riddle me that.
I don't know how Russia made it.
No,
How
but
did Russia make it into the global north?
Israel's in the global north as well.
Good job, lads.
But not the Falklands, which is
What? Not the Falklands?
deeply hurtful, frankly.
Yeah.
The West Falklands are trying to edge their way in there now.
Literally, the Falklands is populated by nothing but British people. And it's like, yeah, global south.
Maybe this map makes
Because, I mean, really, global south and global north just means white and non-white, right?
Well,
what's going on in Indonesia down there? Why is it? What's
what
that?
do you mean?
Look, the gap that goes down, like a long plunge to this.
Yeah, obviously.
What's that?
It's a white nation.
Yeah, but what is it?
Singapore.
Is that? Oh, right, that's Singapore, is it? Right, okay, fair enough.
Because it's a successful British colony.
Right, okay.
Including Hong Kong there as well, you'll notice.
And all the ocean that connects it.
Yeah, but the map like jumps up to encircle Hong Kong and then it's like Macau, maybe not. Just ignores that one.
So ridiculous.
Anyway.
And there are a bunch of island territories that are claimed by Australia, and they don't get to be a part of the global north.
No, they don't. And this map as well confirms that Argentina is indeed non-white. Anyway, getting back to the article in which she continues to make the
Poor
case.
old Mexico.
Well, suffer. What makes Argentina's story so unique in this context, right, however, is that it was successful in its push to build its image as a white country.
Not unfortunate.
I mean, not that successful, but whatever. I mean, still makes it on the global south map over there. But for example, in the 1950s, the political philosopher and diplomat Juan Bautista, whatever, was perhaps best known for his saying, "To govern is to populate," promoted white European immigration to the country. Argentina's president, as well, supported his ideas and incorporated them into the country's first constitution, and Amendment 25 saying that the federal government shall foster European immigration.
I mean, a constitution is a European invention.
Yeah, there's that too. But I mean, also that is actually the wording of the EU's constitution, but whatever. That's not a problem. In fact, the ex-president also remarked towards the end of the 19th century, 20 years hence, presumably this was a campaign manifesto promise, it will be necessary to travel to Brazil to see blacks. I don't know what it is about like 1800s race politics, but it's always hilarious. And also...
Or France, I suppose, is...
Yeah, and also at the same time you will find the critical race theorists just cottoning on to be like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Hey, this guy...
I'm voting for him.
Just like, carry on.
I'm sorry, that's why I had to go through this whole thing. It reads like a lunatic.
Yeah, preposterous.
As for the nation's black and... whatever population who were in Argentina before this mass European immigration.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, we're allowed to use that phrase.
Oh, good point.
Mass European
it's
immigration.
the Great Replacement. Oh, she's a conspiracy theorist. I
Mass
didn't realize.
migration from Europe is destroying our pure black population of Argentina.
And Amerindian population. Right, okay.
Yeah.
So now we're on... Right. Good point.
Which,
yeah, no, she's making a great point about that mass migration.
I don't know.
It's racial genocide.
I disavow all of this, personally. Many begin to strategically identify as white.
Tactically. Yeah, but this is going the other way. This is what Rachel Dolezal's doing. She's strategically identifying as black in order to get the benefits of it.
She's not the only one. I mean, how many have there been now?
Well, plenty.
I mean, we also have plenty of like MPs in the UK who are clearly not black, but keep insisting, I am a black candidate.
Oh, like the Liverpool mayor.
Yes. Who I think is actually being kicked out now for corruption.
Can you imagine?
Fact check me on that one, but I think she's stepping down because of all that. But either way, strategically identifying as white became a thing. And
no, it probably did in like 1900.
Yeah.
Argentina,
to today.
Yeah.
In real time. Or if they
Kanye
could,
West.
or if they could pass or settle into a more ambiguous racial and ethnic category.
Maybe like marrying a white man.
Yeah, which again, the same thing is happening today in the West, which is that people are continuously trying to argue, oh, no, I'm not white. I mean, do you remember that mayoral debate? I think it was in New York or something, whatever.
Yeah.
It was like, aren't you a white man? And he goes, well, I am Italian. It's like, the more ambiguous racial
I'm not
category.
white, I'm Italian. It's like, right, that explains a lot.
The exact same thing is happening. These categories
In reverse, yeah.
included, this I kind of feel dirty reading this. I'm not going to pronounce it right, but that's not why I feel dirty. The categories that included, the ambiguous groups here. Carrillo, which is pre-immigrant background, often affiliated with Spanish and Amerindian ancestry.
Right.
Moroncho, tan-coloured.
Right.
Pardo, brown-coloured. And Trigudo, wheat-coloured.
Okay, so that describes everyone in Europe south of Denmark.
But also, I don't know about you, but I never thought you'd be allowed to talk like this. But apparently in Argentina they have wheat-coloured people, tan-coloured people, brown-coloured people, and pre-immigrant people.
Isn't like wheat colour just normal, like European
white
skin colour?
I have no idea.
Like white skin is not actually white. If we're actually going to be like, if we're going to look like the pipette dropper on Photoshop, then okay, well, aren't we all
again, this isn't my wheelhouse, but this lady's like, well, I've got a chart.
the swatch chart.
I've got a colour swatch, in fact, which I've listed: wheat, eggshell, so forth.
Yeah.
Well, these labels ultimately cast them as
literally
others.
The only white people are those people north of Hadrian's Wall. Right. Okay. Like eggshell white. Right. Okay. Great.
I mean, they're almost translucent in Iceland. So she writes, while these labels ultimately cast them as others, they have also helped disassociate them from blackness at a time where there was a state imperative to not be black.
Okay.
Which is weird, because it was a black country, surely. This history makes it clear that whilst Argentinian soccer team may not include people of African descent, or perhaps that people would view as black, it is not a white team either.
I agree.
That's her big brain conclusion, which is she is like, well, they're sort of wheat-coloured. Am I right?
Honestly, if you speak Spanish, you're not white.
No, I think that is part of the Global South, and we'll move the map adjustingly. I also just wanted to note they did rename the article after you ratioed them successfully. Why doesn't Argentina have more black players in the World Cup?
That's a much more reasonable question, because it's easily answered, because there are hardly any black people in Argentina.
Do want to enjoy myself, though, because I did call it, which is that diversity wouldn't win. That the groups harping on about how diverse they are would lose, because they spend their time harping on about diversity instead of learning how to pass the ball.
Instead of kicking the ball, yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to bring back up some oldies but goldies.
Go on.
You remember this? You remember this during the tournament? The English team, 3 black players scored. So this lady had to come out, Anthony over here had to come out and be like, black excellence, with pictures of them, and got 1 million like-a-roonies. This was
I see where this is going, Callum.
Narrative that blew up. Next image, please. Now what? I mean, presumably also black excellence, because Argentina isn't white, but...
I mean, why not? How could you argue the case?
Otherwise, wheat excellence? I don't know. I don't know which category he falls into over there, but...
I mean, maybe it's just the shading on that picture or something, but this, Mediterranean excellence, maybe.
Yeah, there's also...
His surname's Messi. Like, that's got to be a Mediterranean name.
That's a white name. Anyway, so Argentina is also having some fun with this.
Smith. Funny.
Did see this meme being shared a lot from Argentinians, which it's got to hurt.
Yeah, this was like, was it Germany who got crushed by Japan?
There was that too.
Yeah, and it's like, that mono team of Japan.
The English team got destroyed, but then again, France is more diverse than England, so the narrative worked until it didn't, which is, there you have it. They're all still trying to push this ideology as well. It hasn't stopped. If you go to the next one here, we see some Twitter accounts who are like, well, without immigration... So many teams this year would not be possible without welcoming diversity.
You know what's weird, right? If they had never mentioned the word diversity and they just had presented a team where it's like, 7 white guys, 3 black guys, I would assume those 3 black guys were just brilliant.
Yeah, no one would care.
No, it's not even that no one would care. Like,
I wouldn't even think, like, is he from Cameroon? Because I just, my mind...
But I wouldn't think, why is he there? I think, he must be great at football. Because why else would he be on the World Cup team? So he must be an immigrant to England... maybe the Windrush generation or something like that.
Some guy from Nigeria who we picked up, paid a load of money because he was fantastic.
Must be brilliant at football. But now, I think, oh no, Gareth Southgate, I'm not going to say anything rude, but like saw a black person was like, yeah, you. Like, that's what I'm thinking, because I think that, Gareth Southgate is not trustworthy.
No. There's also the fact that they're doing this to the women as well. I thought we'd just enjoy this clip, which is hilarious, in which the leader of the England female team was asked a question, and you could see the panic.
Oh, yeah.
Let's play this.
Do we have a diversity problem in English football, do you think?
Well, that's a good question. I would love to see more black players in the team. I think that's what you're pointing out.
She looks like she's in front of a firing squad.
Yeah, well, I love how she's not even anything nuanced about diversity. She just goes, more blacks? Don't shoot.
How did Gareth Southgate do it?
It's stupid. Anyway, the last thing...
Didn't the England women's team win?
They did, when they were all white, and that's got to be changed.
Yeah.
Anyway, the last thing here is just The Guardian also pointing out that, we need more of this. And the thing is,
real England does it? Right, okay.
Yeah, just don't tag your ideology to the success of a football game. I think that's probably the lesson that should have been learned by now. It's been 3 football games now, in which the
3 tournaments, yeah.
non-diverse team has won and destroyed the diverse teams, and those who won't shut up about diversity. And maybe it's time to stop, and maybe it's also time to stop with the colour swatches, Washington Post, and...
maybe talking about the merit of them as players would be a return to tradition.
Or I suppose we could decide that Argentina is just not white, which is also just an option on the table, which I'm going to take.
We hope you enjoyed that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters. Myself and the rest of the team wish you a very Merry Christmas. Maybe this year, a good gift might be a £5 subscription to our website, where you can access all of the premium content we so frequently put up, including Beau's series Epochs, where in this episode, he and Carl discuss the life of Clive of India. And if you'd like to follow the rest of what Carl puts out, you can follow him on Getter at Carl Benjamin on Getter. Merry Christmas and goodbye.